Hello, my friends. Today I'd like to start right away with the critical situation on the border with Poland.
Доброго дня, ми на кордоні Авдіївка. Ось що наші сусіди, поляки, зробили з джипами для армії. Побили раз скло, два, тут.
As we can see, the Ukrainian forces are trying to hold back Russia from reaching Poland, and in response, we are facing border blockades and even damaged vehicles intended for the Ukrainian forces. So, friends, it's difficult for me to comment on such a situation, so please share your thoughts in the comments. In turn, the Minister of Defense of Germany stated that the recording of conversations among German officers about the planned destruction of the bridge is simply part of the information warfare waged by Putin.
That you came here on Sunday night. In fact, we are talking about an incident that happened on Friday. The incident is much more than just the interception and publication of a conversation in the Air Force Zone. It is part of Putin's information warfare. There is no doubt about it. This is a hybrid attack aimed at disinformation. It is about division. It is about undermining our unity. Accordingly, we are no less determined.
Perhaps this is how Putin is trying to create problems in supporting Ukraine. In doing so, Poland becomes one of the instruments where he manages to sow discord between Ukrainians and Poles. And it seems that due to the leaked statement, the Taurus missiles to Ukraine may not arrive at all.
I don't know if you have heard and read this recording. I think the officers were doing what they are supposed to do, which is to think through different scenarios without planning anything. They also left no doubt that neither I nor the Chancellor had given the green light for the deployment of Taurus. So they were thinking about what scenarios could be discussed in the end. This is your job as managers. And we will now analyze the results again. Conclusion, but in any case, and this also became clear in this conversation, the officers made it clear at every moment of the discussion that the line of participation in the war, and it comes in different forms, will not be crossed.
As it can be seen, Putin is partially achieving his goals, and through informational attacks, decisions that were on the verge of being adopted are being cancelled. Moreover, today the Poles continue to block military trucks which are urgently needed at front.
Farmers are again not allowing trucks for our military. 2 trucks. How it pissed me off. Another 6 trucks and trailers have been standing in the Netherlands for 2 weeks because the transporters stupidly cannot pick them up. Guess why? Because the trucks are still in Ukraine and cannot leave because of the Polish protesters.
Now, let's turn to the situation along the front line. And today we'll start right away with the Marinka direction. Here, it seems that after a significant number of attacks, the Russians have finally achieved some success. So yesterday evening, reports and video footage began to emerge indicating that the occupiers managed to break through to the center of Novomykhailivka and hoist their Russian flag.
To prove their statements, they attach a video in which they install a rag on the ruins of a house, from where you can see the Church of the Miracle of the Archangel Michael, located in the very center of the village. At the same time, shots and explosions are heard in the video, that is, the fighting is still going on.
For now, we need to wait for official confirmation and updates on the map, but considering the hellish conditions there over the past few days, such events are not surprising. So Novomykhailivka was partially half encircled. So the fact that the Ukrainian forces held out for so long is a significant achievement. Although there is hope that the Ukrainian forces will be able to regain control of the village. So in the video where the Russians are raising their flag, explosions and gunfire can be heard in the background, so this may indicate that fighting continues and there is a possibility that success will ultimately be on the side of the Ukrainian forces. So we wait. Over the past day, in this direction, 27 attacks were recorded, and intense fighting continues in the areas of Krasnohorivka and Avdiivka. In the Avdiivka direction, the occupiers conducted 18 attacks, so the activity gradually increasing again. However, the Ukrainian forces report that the Russians are using less equipment. Mostly, they advance with infantry. So, battles are taking place in the areas of Berdachy, Orlivka, Tonenki, Pervomayske, and Nevelske. But, despite all the difficulties, the Ukrainian forces continue to successfully hold the defense, and the front line hasn't changed over the past day. Although fighters on the ground report that the occupiers are trying to consolidate their positions on the outskirts of Tonenki and Orlivka.
As of now, the Avdiivka direction. Orlivka 50/50ths, they are trying to actively crawl through. Our units are cutting off the infantry from all available firepower. In Tonenk, our forces are entrenched on 35 to 40% of the settlement. In the controlled territory, the Russians are trying to set up small fortifications. Equipment has become noticeably less, they are climbing meat.
In the Bakhmut direction, the occupiers conducted 4 attacks in the areas of Bogdanivka, Ivanivska, and Andriivka. However, the Russians haven't achieved any success here, and despite the very difficult situation in Ivanivska, the Ukrainian forces continue to hold part of the village under their control and prevent the Russians from fully capturing it. So, shelling also continues along the entire front line. In the Siversk direction, the occupiers attempted to break through near the village of Verkhamnenske, but they didn't succeed and the front line remains unchanged. In the Krynky direction, the occupiers seem to have eased off a bit, so they conducted 2 attacks on the village of Terne, but without success, they retreated to their former positions. So shelling continues along the entire front line. Near Yampolivka, Russia has had no success at all, so this situation remains unchanged. In the Kupiansk direction, the occupiers carried out 9 assaults in the areas of Senkivka and Tabaivka. However, as before, there have been no changes in the front line. Shelling also continues as usual, so the Russians seem to have no shortage of ammunition. Now, let's turn to the southern directions. In the area of Vuhledar, the occupiers shelled about 20 settlements, but there were no offensive actions during the day, so the situation along the front line remains unchanged. In the Zaporizhia direction, the occupiers have also reduced their activity, and today there are no offensive actions recorded. Aerial strikes are carried out on the frontline villages and artillery shelling continues. Nevertheless, the front line remains unchanged and the Ukrainian forces don't retreat from their positions. In the Kherson direction, the occupiers continue their attempts to push the Ukrainian forces off the left bank, while strikes on the right bank haven't ceased. Russian military correspondents even claim that they are not conducting any assaults at all.
In the Kherson direction in the area of Krynky. Today, There were no assaults, mop-up operations on Teplinskoye, of the enemy's bridgehead in the village of Krynky. And so it is for the fourth day. Soldiers and officers on the ground understand the futility of the assaults on the village of Krynky and the inadequacy. Teplinsky's orders.
And that's all from me. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and click the notification bell to stay updated on all the latest news. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.